Pavilion Banqueting Hall, comprising 2 beautifully decorated modern guest suites with seating capacity for up to 1,100 guests. An ideal choice for engagements, weddings, Mendi parties, exhibitions and seminars. Supported by the latest sound and video technology, air-conditioned and free Wi-Fi. Contact us today and see how we can make your vision a reality. The Eastern Pavilion Banqueting Hall, located on Featherstall Road South, Oldham. A perfect choice for your perfect day.
Welcome to UK24 TV, where today we're actually looking at our health and well-being. We've spoken about politics, we've spoken about lots of different organisations, and what better organisation to introduce to you today during this blessed month of Ramzan Sharif than a group of people who decided that they would look after themselves by going on walks. Now we know probably a little bit more about ramblers, people that roam the countryside, go to different places, go for walks and organise. But KRAMBLERS is an organisation which is, I would say, a sister or brother organisation which looks at doing exactly the same, but people from the minority ethnic communities, in particular a group of people that came from a particular background back in 2013. And I'm going to introduce you to 2 special guests who are going to give us more information and hopefully will incite you into joining them every Sunday for a walk. Assalamu alaikum, Farooq bhai.
Wa alaikum salam.
Great to see you.
You okay?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. And welcome, Ruxana. How are you?
Thank you. Good.
Excellent. It's actually great to see that as walkers we've actually got a brother and a sister who's come along today, because one of the things that we find traditionally is that people that go for walks, or this kind of organised walks, tends to be the boys that go into the mountains and sort of go to these peaks and places. But this organisation was actually set up by our very own beloved Hafiz Qayyum Sahab back in 2013, and you decided to join. Can you tell us a little bit more, Farooq bhai?
Yeah, well, it is our friends, they've been doing individual works, but KRAMBLERS, it was basically brainchild of Hafiz Qayyum Sahab. He thought that why not we organize all these friends together into a group. So instead of doing individual walks, we go every single week. We go out in the mountains, in the countryside, and UK has a beautiful countryside.
Absolutely.
So it was back in 2013 when Hafiz Sahab and a couple of other friends, they joined together, and we started this organization called KRAMBLERS, which is like ramblers basically. So all people, since then, without a miss, every single Sunday, our groups are out in the countryside.
So what's the basic concept for Ramblers? What is it? I mean, what is Ramblers? I mean, I did briefly introduce it, but for those people that don't know Ramblers and don't really know anything about going for walks, I mean, what does Ramblers mean? What is it?
It's basically doing things on your own. People do it, but you need motivation. And sometimes motivation comes from friends together.
Of course.
When you go out with friends and with your family and your kids, so you spend quality time. That is really important. People go to gym, pay a lot of membership, and
some people pay membership but don't even go. That's somebody like me. I gave up a long time ago, wasting my money on that.
So I'm not against going to gym, but going out in the countryside, in the fresh air, and that connects you with that nature.
Yes.
And
Roxanne, I'm going to bring you in now in terms of, just as Farooq Bhai has said, alhamdulillah, we've had some beautiful weather. I don't want to jinx it, but we've had some beautiful weather the last couple of days. This time of year when the weather is good, a lot of our females think more about the way that they look, and they want to look fresh, they want to look vibrant, they want to feel good. So this is perhaps one way, isn't it?
It's an excellent way of doing that, because not only helps you, with your fitness, it also helps you with your other conditions that you have. Many of our ladies, they have diabetes, they have high blood pressure, and these things, what they do is they actually motivate you. And as you're walking, you feel the fresh air, you breathe better, your bones don't ache anymore. It's a lot of good things. Walking is excellent for your health. And if you actually walk every single day for 21 days, you will notice the difference in your body shape, because it is excellent.
And when did you join?
I joined KRAMBLERS about maybe just over 4 years now. And I was doing lots of climbing and hiking before. But then I found this group on Facebook and I thought, KRAMBLERS, I've never heard of KRAMBLERS, what are they? So I rang them and they said, sure, come and join us. And when I first went, I was the only lady and I was like, oh my God, I don't even know these guys, and I'm meeting them on, a certain place on the motorway.
Oh dear.
And I'm like, oh my God.
Not recommended. Not recommended to do
but
that.
Mashallah, they are the best people that I
thanks.
have ever met. They are so kind and very respectable, and mashallah, we have lots of other ladies, and when we have family days, all the ladies come, little children come, and we all go on very large walks.
Roxana, do you have to be like super fit? Because
No.
the thought of climbing a mountain or climbing a hill, I'm thinking, oh no, I'm just going to roll over, I'm going to fall, I'm going to look like a real idiot because I'm going to be on my backside, because I won't. But it's not really like
Not
that, is it?
necessarily. I mean, you've got to have a certain amount of fitness if you're doing high climbing, like if you're going on a 900 feet climb, then you do need to be a little bit fit.
Yeah.
But slowly, you steadily win the race, as they say. So long as you're healthy and you can walk, and everybody goes at their own pace, there's no need to rush. It's not a race. So everybody does wait for you, if you're a bit behind. I mean, initially when I joined them, in our first walk I went on with, I think it was Loose Hill or something, or Win Hill something. And I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to get to their standard, even though I've done trekking before, whereas I've been out of the UK.
Was that in Pakistan?
No, here. I've been to Peru, in South America. I've been to Mount Kilimanjaro, not Kilimanjaro, so Mount Tubicon in Morocco, and I've done the Great Wall of China.
Oh my God.
And my brothers here, they've just
After
recently-
Manchester City Centre.
they recently,
there's some height there.
yeah. I mean, these walks are really, really good. They are excellent walks, and there's beautiful walks in the UK. You don't need to go outside of UK.
I was just going to say that, Farooq Bhai, because one of the things that you just mentioned is the fact that there are such beautiful places. We do live in an island, and the fact that we live in an island and we have the mountains, we have the hills, we have countryside, we have flat walks. It doesn't all have to be uphill, does it?
No.
There is a concept, isn't there, that this kind of walking perhaps is all about climbing, a peak mountain, but it's not just that, is it?
No, that's the thing basically. There's a misconception that people think that you have to be super fit to join these walks. The fact is that if you are already super fit, so whatever you are doing already to keep you super fit, that is working for you. This group, KRAMBLERS, is for the people who have some health issues. For example, who have in our groups people who have angina issues, who have already had bypass, and they are still part of our group, and they are doing a lot of work. So basically, the idea is to motivate our other brothers and sisters and our children, of course, to go in a group to enjoy out in the nature. That's what it is. You don't have to be super fit. You can walk, at your pace, and you will always find some people. If you are fast walker, there are people in the group. You can join them. If you are slow walker, you will have you have the company there, and you will find people. You will be working at your pace. But the important thing is that as a group, at starting point and the mid point, we take regular breaks. The people who are new on the group, we look after them. We want to encourage them to, stay together, and we look after them. It's not that you just set up from home and then you will see everyone at the end of the work. This doesn't happen. We support them, we encourage them, and help them wherever possible.
The group was set up in 2013, and slowly it's grown, and it's grown from originally from Rochdale down, across to the different towns, and now it's across the UK. I came across Hafiz Qayyum Saab at an event, a mayor's event, and he was honoured for his work by the Mayor of Oldham, Councillor Javed Iqbal Saab. And I noticed then, as a group of people, I was hosting that evening, and I noticed that they were so different. The people were from different ages, the fact that they looked as though they were from sort of professional backgrounds and other backgrounds. I think there were some like doctors and other people, solicitors and other people, and they were all so different. But they were all, even on that night, they were all laughing and having fun, weren't they? Yes. So that's quite interesting,
isn't
it?
Another thing. You mentioned people from different backgrounds. That's true. We have in our organization people from all backgrounds. Like we have doctors, we have solicitors, we have accountants. I'm a accountant as well. And people were like politicians. You mentioned Mayor Javed,
yes.
Who is the mayor of Oldham,
yes.
Current mayor of Oldham. We have deputy mayor of Rochdale Council, Councillor Dalat Ali. He is part of the, he's the founding member of KRAMBLERS. And there are people from all sort of backgrounds. But important thing is when we are at the walk, our main identity is KRAMBLER. There's no other identity. We are just KRAMBLER. We are brothers, sisters at the KRAMBLER walks to enjoy the day of. There's another important thing. No matter what you do, in any other activity, nowadays we can't keep our phones off. But that day, we decided to have this day for ourselves. When our phones, they will be just out in some places. Even if you want to use phone, but there is no
reception.
So there's no reception. You can't use phone.
So you don't have people taking selfies and sending messages.
KRAMBLERS do take lots of pictures, but we don't actually use the phone to chit chat because we all get involved talking to each other about different things. As you're walking, you're talking. And then when we stop for meals, everybody has, lunch, and it's really absolutely amazing.
So Roxana, tell me, you joined around 4 years ago, and at first, obviously, you met this group of people that you hadn't known before, and you were the only female. Have more women joined since? Have you been able to encourage more women to join?
There is lots of other ladies that are in the group, but I didn't realise that at that time there was few women in the group, because when I went, and I was like thinking, there's no other women, it's only me, but I still get going because I'm that kind of person, I love walking, and I would have gone in any situation. And yes, we do have lots of other young ladies, and we had a group of ladies, was it last year, they went to Everest. They actually went to Everest, and as you know, that's the highest mountain in the world.
Of course.
And they actually did go there, and it was absolutely amazing, and they were part of our group.
Traditionally, I was just going to say, Roxanne, traditionally you don't get a lot of women that go for walks and things. I do know of ladies groups that go for walks. They may be part of a community organisation, a women's organisation, but there still is sort of a cultural barrier in terms of going for these kinds of walks. But if you look at some of the other countries where more and more women are engaged at community level, but also at college and university level, who do go for these walks, what do you think is the biggest thing, the biggest obstacle, other than the actual, the walking, that we need to try and overcome to encourage our women to go for walks?
I think they have to overcome their barriers that they have, or maybe they have different thought patterns, thinking, if I go out, or my mum might say this, or my dad might say this. But I find that personally, I've never had those issues. I've grown up in an area where it's predominantly all white, and I'm originally from Manchester, so I've never had them issues. any kind of issues like that. My parents have always encouraged me to do whatever I wish to do, long as it's within the boundaries of our, you know. And so in that respect, I think it's good. And I know a few women who do love walking, and they don't have any issues, but some I do know.
What about the uniform? Because one of the things that I think is that here we are sitting in, mashallah, beautiful shalwar kameez, and one of the issues that people have is, even with any kind of physical support, especially when it comes to females, is what are they going to wear? Are they going to be covered? Is this going to happen? Is that going to happen? It might be a very small thing, but for the ladies to overcome themselves, do they have to go and buy tracksuits and jumpers and boots and things?
No,
is that expensive business?
No, it is expensive if you want to do it 100% and do it like, you know, this is all what you want to do. Professionally, you have to invest in good gear because it will help you, especially the shoes.
You can't go in chappals, can you?
No.
And what I'm wearing today.
I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend that you get yourself a good pair of walking boots or trainers, because you don't want to be walking with blisters, because you won't be able to go far. But whereas the other gear is concerned, you don't need anything. I went last year to Morocco, and we went climbing with my friend. And my friend, she wears a hijab and she wears a jubba, and she climbed with her jubba on. Wow. You know, so the bus or whatever is
that particular trek, it was safe enough for her to do that. Not all will be.
Not all will be. About the weather.
Yeah, it depends on the weather conditions, but you need to have very good boots and a good jacket, you know, and it all depends if it may be warm where you are at the lower end. As soon as you reach a certain peak, it may start raining, because you can't predict the weather.
So the main thing is about your footwear and your jacket, but you can wear shalwar kameez or English. It doesn't matter as long as it's suitable for the weather.
Yeah, because the shalwar kameez, you may find that you will be very cold when you get to the top and it starts raining, and you don't want to get into that situation. So what you need to do is you need to have some sort of clothes that are feasible to wear.
But there's no restrictions, is there? As long as it's safe.
As long as it's safe.
Also, it is important that they say the weather has its own mountain have its own weather. So basically, sometimes when we go up on the mountain, you will feel it's a bit chilly. So you need to have good jacket, as Shanaz mentioned, and you know, good gear. But it has to be like comfortable for you, and according to the weather condition. We were talking about that about how many women we have in our group. So it's basically Hafsa and his niece Safina.
Yes.
They used to, you know, go before KRAMBLERS. They used to go for walks together, you know. And then Saima from Rochdale, she is one of the early members of the KRAMBLER groups. So our group is not like that, it's all men group. No. It's, you know, it's a mixed group, people from all backgrounds, and it's not restricted to any geographical area here in UK or in, you know, for that sake, you know, in other parts of the world. We have in our group people from Jamaica, you know, we have people, we have some English friends, Richard for example.
Originally it was set up by a group of Kashmiri friends, wasn't it? And that's where it came from, KRAMBLERS. So Kashmiri Ramblers, but it's gone wider, hasn't it? So that was the original sort of gelling that happened. Affordability, we talk about equipment and things, or just clothing and things, but affordability, if somebody wanted to join, because obviously people have to look after the budget in terms of travelling, in terms of anything they need, can somebody who's on a very basic budget, can they join KRAMBLERS?
Yeah, sure, why not? As we said before, of course you need to have suitable walking gear. So walking is a sport. You know, when you're doing it as a sport, you have to spend something so that you join the group, and also it has to be according to the conditions. But it is not as expensive as you will find many other sports. I would say this would I would class it one of the cheapest sports basically, where the benefits are far-reaching, and you enjoy a lot. And just think how much people pay for a gym membership for a year. So this walking gear, if you get, you know, you get good quality shoes once.
How much would they be? I mean, a good quality pair of shoes.
You could pay up to £100. You could buy in a sale maybe, you could buy them from different
Well, you could buy walking trainers, can't you?
Walking trainers or walking boots are better.
Yes.
Because you need to be all weather conditions. And the other thing, like you were saying about travel, the excellent thing about the Cramblers is that if you don't have a car or a situation to get to a place, we all ring, we have a group, a WhatsApp group, and on there, and we put it on there, and we say who's going from this area, so we can catch a lift off each other, we can take each other, so that's not an issue. But the thing you must have is you must have good walking boots and a jacket, because the weather does change as you can go to the tops. The weather you can have 4 seasons in one day. You can have 4 seasons.
And now we are looking for, in partnership with some council, for example, Rothschild Council, Oldham Council, and other council, to engage, some people who normally they are isolated, they are not engaging. There is a big issue at the moment, especially in the BAME community, people over 50s. They are not as engaging in the activities.
Something that we learnt during the local elections was that people from particular age groups, like you said, the over 50s, were totally isolated and they weren't engaging with communities, and we had situations where people were actually going into their homes and making sure they were actually alive because nobody had seen them for days. And unless they went to the doctors or somebody saw them, if there was somebody well enough and they were maybe involved in the local mosque or something, they may not know. And it might only be that Friday that they go, because the rest of the time they're at home. They might only go for Jummah Namaz. So the rest of the week. So this would be one way, wouldn't it, in terms of engaging those people and getting people to work with communities and getting the young to work with older people, wouldn't it?
Recently we have a very successful BAME Health and Wellbeing Conference in Manchester. It was very well attended, almost 300.
This was in April, wasn't it? In April 2019.
On 11th of April.
Yes.
And it was very well attended conference. There were MEPs, MPs, there were a lot of councillors, mayors, and people from all sorts of groups. They attended that. So the idea is to spread this message to the people who are not in normal way, they are not engaging in any activities, to engage them with this. So they do the walks according to their abilities, whatever they can do, even if it's a mile daily, because we do organize regular walks once in a week, which is every Sunday, as you mentioned. Every Sunday our groups are out inside, but now and then we organize one main walk where people from all towns we get together at one place and we do walks together. But in normal days we encourage our members to do like a daily walking. Even if you want to do 1 mile, you just do 1 mile. So that keep yourself fitness.
We're going to go to a commercial break, so it's going to continue our conversation. So if you're somebody who's interested in looking after yourself, not just physically but mentally, spiritually, I want to connect with different communities, and you're interested in joining the Cramblers, and do send us your comments. We've got a couple of people who are watching us online. Send us your comments, and of course we will leave the details of the organisation. Have a think about it. What is it that we can do in terms of making ourselves not just healthier in spirit, in mind, but also socially in terms of engaging people from all sorts of backgrounds. We'll have continue our conversation straight after the break. I'll see you then. Assalamu alaikum.
The Eastern Pavilion Banqueting Hall, comprising 2 beautifully decorated modern guest suites with seating capacity for up to 1,100 guests. An ideal choice for engagements, weddings, Mendi parties, exhibitions and seminars. Supported by the latest sound and video technology, air-conditioned and free Wi-Fi. Contact us today and see how we can make your vision a reality. The Eastern Pavilion Banqueting Hall, located on Featherstall Road South, Oldham. A perfect choice for your perfect day.
welcome to UK24 TV, where during Ramzan Kareem what we're doing is introducing you to organisations and groups of people who can make a difference in your life. And today we've been concentrating on looking after our health and well-being, and I've met two fantastic people, very different. I mean, Farquhar, you're an accountant by profession, and Roxana, I was just learning about you are an actual artist. You run your own businesses, and you look at, I mean, you are a painter. So two very different people, but one thing that connects you is the love of walking, but not just at the countryside and meeting people. Now, when encouraging people to look after themselves, we've just mentioned a growing concern within our own communities in looking after the elderly, isolation. We're finding our families and community networks are changing, where we had large extended families. People are now moving away because of jobs. Not that they don't love their parents or don't love their families, but because of financial decisions that they have to make or career decisions that they have to make. Families also becoming smaller, aren't they, in terms of number of children. So there's a whole array of reasons why we're not as connected as we used to be. You just mentioned, Roxana, I want to bring you in terms of as mothers, as daughters, as daughter-in-laws, as generally in terms of what's happening there, is what can women do, what can we do as women to encourage our sisters out there to look after themselves? Because health within our own BME communities for women is becoming a greater concern day by day, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I feel that the women should talk more about their health issues, because a lot of women don't.
I was going to say talk more.
Talk more.
The men want us to talk less.
No, they should talk more regarding their
health. Yes.
Because what they do is, say if somebody's got high blood pressure or diabetes, they try and cover it. They don't want this one to know. They don't want that one to know. But it's good to get it out of their system. So once they get it out of their system, they can get together in small groups. You know, like I said before, they can walk around their own area in a small park, because it will help them. And some women have arthritis, they find it really difficult to walk. And with this, they can walk, because they can, even 10 minutes walk. You know, even I said to a friend of mine, I said, look, if you can't walk outside, because she had arthritis and stuff, I said, you have a huge garden. Walk in your garden. Just go 4 or 5 times around and you'll be fine. And I think that is the thing that you need to do more.
Keeping mobile with lots of ailments,
Yeah.
whether it be, for example, arthritis or a health problem. Somebody that's had an ailment, they may have suffered a stroke, or they may have high blood pressure, high cholesterol. All these things which are very common within the Asian community and BME communities in generally. Walking, which is a low impact sport, if you call it a sport, or a low impact activity, together with things like swimming, is something that is very doable, isn't it?
It is doable. It's excellent. I mean, walking is so good for you. Like I said before, 10 minutes walking. Same with blood pressure. If you're high hypertension, if you do your walks very good for you. It will help you with all these issues. And because of our ladies, some of them, they don't discuss it. And, you know, the families, they're hiding it from each other or whatever. And they need to open up, because nobody will know, you know, if you're sick, if you're sitting at home. And like you said, society has changed. Whereas you knew your neighbours before, you knew what was going on around you. Now nobody knows, because everybody's isolated, locked up in their own homes, and they're not talking to each other.
You mentioned people speaking about their health, and in particular ladies. One of the things that we find is that they don't quite know what to do, and like we said, they don't discuss their health issues. Maybe they don't really understand their health issues, and traditionally, you know, popping a pill seems they think it's going to fix it. How much advice, Roxana, do you think is out there in terms of health and well-being, not just for our ladies, but in generally communities? And do they encourage this kind of activity? Doctors, nurses, people out there?
Well, the surgery that I'm at, they do very much encourage. I'm on one of the doctors' board. You know, I go to their meetings, and they're always discussing it, how to involve patients in what's going on. But we find that lots of Asian people tend to hold back, and they think, oh, because I've had this now, this is gonna happen. But it's not. You need to discuss it, and there is lots of care and you know, lots of things out there but sometimes you have to source them. You know, and if you help yourself, pills are not going to solve your problem. You know, yes, you've got to have a good diet. You know, you've got to try and help yourself, because you know, I myself have been poorly, and I do lots of herbal stuff. I do lots of things like that, and walking is a passion for me, and I love being with KRAMBLERS, because they're the, you know, we are so good together. Everybody gels together, and everybody talks about their own issues. This is going on, or that was. But you know, as a group, I think we are fantastic, and more people should join us. You know.
I was just going to say, for Rukmai, in terms of, do you have a situation where you have referrals from community groups or from the doctors? I know you're trying to do more with the councils and in terms of community organisations, but is there a system that is set up or needs to be set up where people are referred to groups like this, walking groups, because it's not just about the physical activity, is it? It's more than that, just as Ruxana has said.
Yeah, as I said earlier on, so far all the people joining us, they were like coming together from the friends and family background, and then when they saw this benefit, they started coming together and they started walks. But certainly we are at a stage now where we can expand this organization, where we can, you know, certainly from the council and from GPs, people, I think, like I do know, GPs sometimes refer some patients for swimming or for gym or some other you know, exercises. So our organization is well capable of offering these services, you know, where people, like, for example, depression. You know, people are suffering from depression. Simply they are sitting home all the time, sitting in front of the TV, not doing any exercise, not engaging with other people. So our organization which offer this opportunity for people to come out.
I'll just
health benefits.
Yes, I mean, you had the conference in April, just recently. I was just looking at the people who were actually some of your keynote speakers. Obviously, Councillor Ali Adalat, who chaired the conference, and you have the Right Honourable Baroness Beverly Hughes as an OBE. She's the chief patron of KRAMBLERS. Also, you had Andy Burnham, Mayor of Manchester. You had Sajjad Heather Kareem, obviously MEP member of European Parliament. You had Jazz Bogle, who's Deputy Director of Health and Social Care, Dr. Sakti Karunati, I hope I pronounced that right, the Public Health Director from Lancashire County Council, together with Bharth Kaur, a consultant of diabetes and endocrinology. So you've got a very credible group of people who are obviously behind supporting the organisation. Are they going to be able to move this a step forward in ensuring that you get the support and the recognition of the benefit of the organisation wider?
Sure, definitely. That's what we are hoping for, and we are on that journey. So far our journey has been fantastic, and in few years what KRAMBLERS have achieved, that is already, you know, it's surpassing many standards. For example, our group, as you mentioned earlier, we've been to K2 base camp, we've been to Mount Everest base camp. Our group, some members of our group, they've been to Mount Topkal, you know, Kilimanjaro. We've been there. There are some, you know, upcoming walks as well for in this region. So that's what we hope, that these people, what you mentioned, and many other people, they will support us, but mainly it is up to us, basically, the way we are engaging with the community. One of our plan is now that we have members in various towns and cities across UK, and we are in hundreds. Our membership is in hundreds of members now. So we are at the moment in a process to officially formalize branches in various towns and cities. So that network.
I mean, you are a non-profit organisation, and the mission behind it is to tackle health in parity by increasing participation, isn't it, and supporting BME communities. You talk about access, you talk about leadership, you talk about support and communities, and that's what you talk about. But in terms of how are you going to be able to support people in joining you I know that you talk about support in the sense of picking people up, dropping people off if they can't, and even I'm sure that the people are kind enough to be able to lend each other gear if it was needed and if it was something. But going to some of these places is I'm just thinking of the layman out there thinking, well, how am I going to afford all this? I want to enjoy the weather. I'm worried about my health. I love walking, but it all sounds very expensive in terms of travel and everything else. What do you do as a group of people to support each other on this? We're going to bring Roxana in because I know that you...
Well, at the moment, all these things that they're saying on there, what's happening is that is what we're initially, that's what we're forward thinking,
Yes.
That's what we're going to do. But as a community, what we do now, you don't really need that kind of money. Like I said, you need a good pair of walking boots and a good jacket. But yes, if you are going to go overseas to these treks, then yes, it does cost, it won't cost huge.
And does everybody pay for themselves?
They pay for themselves. But what we're trying to do, what Cramblers are trying to do is maybe set up with grant system from different councils so that they can help people that can't afford to go. Maybe that's the forward thinking. But at the moment, they're just on the process of going forward with these things because they've just had a conference. So the conference that we've had, all people and Hafiz.
I mean, the conference is 5 years on, isn't it? It's telling people the story of the 5 years and how it was set up and what they want to be able to do. In terms of engaging communities, we talk about outdoors, we talk about urban activity, outreach, expeditions, and there's lots of things that people can be involved in. But at a basic level, it's about joining, isn't it?
Of course, yeah. At basic level, you can just, like Hafiz started as one person, taking a family member for a walk, and then spoke to this friend, spoke to that friend, and eventually, we have hundreds of people that we all get together in different towns, different places, and we go on these walks, and they don't cost. You when you go there, it's just fresh air. You take your own lunch, and it's absolutely brilliant. Your mindset is so free because you don't think about your problems. You forget all your ailments. You forget about your diabetes, your blood pressure, everything. You forget about it because you're actually looking at the scenery, looking where you're walking. The waterfalls, absolutely beautiful places. Because in the UK there are so many different places that you could go to, and yes, it may cost you petrol money to get there, but once you're there, it doesn't cost anything.
But so Sundays, that tends to be the day where everybody gets together. Is it every Sunday? And where do you? I mean, I know in this particular area you've got a group, and then obviously there are different areas. So tell me about the Sunday. What happens?
Sunday basically depends which part of UK we organize the walk. Mostly our walks, we organize a lot of walks like in Yorkshire Dales, or sometimes local walks here in Rochdale.
And then you've got Pennines and Pendle.
And you have like in Oldham, a lot of beautiful places here as well. And we organize walks. So basically, when there's a organized walk, so people from our member from various towns, they just drive to the meeting point, and we meet together, and we start walk together.
What time do you normally meet? Is it like a crack of dawn? 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Not quite crack of dawn, but
to allow people, to allow members enough time to travel from various towns, so that we can reach to meeting point. But for example, if we are going to Snowdon in Wales, so of course we need to set up a bit early in the morning to get there to do the walk, and our members been to Scuffle Park many times. If you are going to Ben Nevis, which is up in Scotland, so of course you will have to travel a day before so that you take good enough rest, and next morning you can start it. Ben Nevis is the highest peak in UK. So our members, being to all these places, one of recent walks couple of months ago which we organized, and there were about 60 plus the members on that day. A lot of women on that walk. And children.
There wasn't a shopping centre at the end of it, was
no.
there? Or a nice restaurant.
No.
Yeah. And that walk, that walk we did in Malham Cove. Malum Cove and Godale's Car and Janet Frost. It's a beautiful, beautiful place.
It's a family walk, wasn't it?
It was family walk, a
Yeah.
lot of children there. And one thing which I really enjoy about this, for example, when I go on family walks, we go together as a family. My son is with me, so I have like quality time to spend with him. You know.
And how old is your son?
My son is 10-year-old. So it's not only me, it's many other members. They are bringing their family, their sons, their daughters together. So it's about spending that quality time with your family as well, with your loved one. So that's another important benefit of this this work, doing it as they go.
So you get there whatever time is organised, and is it like a map or something? How does it work? 'Cause I'm trying to visualise it. What happens? Or if you get lost?
No, you won't get lost because our leaders, whoever's the leader on the day, they would have the map. And they know the route. Hafiz Sahab always knows the route, or Fazbai, he knows the route, so they know. And the strong walkers at the front, and then you have somebody in the middle, and then you have somebody at the back.
Okay.
So that, because we have small children sometimes. The one I mentioned, on that one, we had the youngest was 4 years old, little girl.
Bless.
And she actually walked.
All the track?
Not the whole way, but obviously she walked most of the way. Her dad picked her up now and then. As I said, everybody with their children have quality time, because when you're working, parents are working, children are at school, you don't get that quality time with them sometimes, because when they come home, they have to go to the mosque, they do this, that, and it's time for bed. Before you know it, you don't see them. So this way, they have a quality time with their parents, and on this last walk, there was many ladies, moms, children, husbands, brothers, sisters, everybody. It was absolutely fantastic.
I was going to ask about people with who may have a disability, for example, if they're in a wheelchair, or if they have a sight impediment, or if they're blind. What kind of support is there any support available for them, or could they bring their carer or somebody, or can you use the wheelchairs on tracks like this, or is it a bit of an issue?
It depends what area we are going. Normally, we don't, of course, it's not feasible to to go to the areas where, for example, the wheelchair access is not possible.
Not always.
So of course we wouldn't encourage a person who is on the wheelchair to go that area. But if it's a flat surface, for example, we are doing Rochelle Canal Walk. So if somebody is wheelchair bound, and it's a nice route,
and there's no problem there.
There's no problem. So that can be accessed easily. There's no problem.
So
and even with somebody who's visually impaired, and if they have a carer, they could come along with them and guide them. If the walk is an easy walk and not too much climbing, then they could do that. But obviously if it's hill walking, which is quite high and rocky area, and that would be a bit dangerous for them. But if the carer is there, it's feasible to do anything these days. I mean, I have a friend who is visually impaired, and he's done the Mothers Run, they have in Manchester, I think it was, and he did it with a partner who actually tied his wrist with his wrist, and then they did.
So all things are possible, aren't they? It's finding a ways and tips, and it's basically the message out there is to. At this time of year, where the weather, alhamdulillah, is getting better, in the sense that we've got some sunshine and it's warmer, is this the best time to encourage people to come out to walk, or do you find that it doesn't really matter and the cold, even the cold is fine?
Well, this is the most popular time of the year when our members basically they enjoy going out, because, as you said, the weather is so nice and the days are getting longer as well. So we regularly we go, especially in this weather. We just regular walks happens, and we go out basically. So weather, nice weather. UK, you can have UK's weather is unpredictable anyway. But when
I thought that makes it exciting, doesn't it? Because you wake up and it's awful, and then by lunchtime you're ripping your jackets off, and by evening you want your kumble again, aren't you? So
but in this weather, I think people are self-motivated anyway.
Yes.
You know, if you see the sun and you think, oh, you want to do this, you want to change the world, you know, because the weather makes you do that.
Yes.
And
Energizes you,
and
doesn't
yes,
it?
and once
you feel positive anyway.
Yes.
yeah, and once you, if it's raining, it does take a little bit pushing, but it's good to walk in the rain as well, because you get a different kind of excitement, different kind
I
of
was just going to say, I find myself is, I mean, I don't get as much time now because a lot of my work is studio bound, but I used to be somebody that did power walk, so I would walk for 20 minutes, half an hour, and then I knew I had to walk that back. So I was actually doubling my distance, and that was. But I prefer to walk when it was cooler, because I was walking faster. And if it's too warm, then I was getting tired when it was too warm. But for me, the cooler the weather, the better it was for me. Do you find that with different people?
Yeah, I think it's better to walk in the morning because it's not too hot, and you can do, say, 10 minutes of power walking, then slow down a bit, do 10 minutes again and then slow down. And if you prefer, you can jog 10 minutes and walk 10 minutes, and that sort of helps you quite a lot. But if you go in the afternoon, it is very hot and you get tired and you won't finish your walk, and you'll thought, oh God, why did I come out? You know, that kind of attitude. But once you go in the morning, it's cooler, it's nicer, or you can go in the evening. I mean, I tend to go in the morning. And I love it.
During Ramzan Sharif, obviously everybody's schedule slightly changes because obviously many people are fasting, and those that are not fasting because of ailments, their general health isn't very good anyway. Does the group meet at a different time, or do you keep it scheduled?
It's in early years basically we've been doing walks even Ramadan after Iftari, after the Tarawih. Some people, even Kosler and now Mayor of Oldham, I remember he used to do night walks.
Did he? What? Yeah. Javed Bhai?
Yeah, Javed Bhai. He used to do night walks a couple of years ago. And our KRAMBLER, Tariq Bhai from Bradford, I know he is such walk lover, and he walks in early mornings, during the nights, evenings, with his sons, and his sons and other sons, they are quite regular on the walks as well. Yeah. Our KRAMBLER friend like Fiaz Rashid, and we have a couple of friends in Sheffield. These friends are everywhere basically, wherever they find the opportunity, whether it's evening, whether it's early morning, even if they can't, you can't go for
I think I'm thinking evening would suit me.
if you can't go for a long walk, just half an hour.
There's a thought of getting up really early, and I'm thinking I'm more of a night owl, I think.
And our friends from Sheffield, Asif and Gulfraz, they have parks close to their home basically. So what they do, if they don't find a lot of time, and if they don't have a lot of time to go for a long walk, so they will just simply have a gentle stroll in the park.
One of the things that I've learnt through organisations like this or groups like this, a lot of it is about friendship, and a lot of it is about finding something in common, and great things develop from there. Is that true?
It's true. We all, like I said, I didn't know anybody apart from one person. No, two people I knew. Only when I met them, I knew they were in the group. And since then, I've made so many friends. And they're like family. I love going, and when I don't go, I feel really depressed because I miss everybody.
Miss them.
I thought, why didn't I go? I should have just pushed myself a little bit more. But everybody is so nice. The KRAMBLER groups, they're absolutely fantastic guys and ladies, the ones I've met. And they're fantastic people, fantastic group of people.
Let's talk about the food. I know that we're fasting, but in the breaks that you did mention, the fact that people bring some lunch around or something. Do you have picnics? What do you do? How do people eat there? I mean, it's not going to sit down, or do they bring the paranthas and things like that? Or
we all take our own food, packed lunch, we'll take with ourselves, drinks, food, everything. But recent work which was organized for a charity, and one of the friends from Bradford, he had full catering equipment with them, and they have a barbecue there. It was
dear.
So Yeah, I know it's iftari time. There's a little bit time for iftari yet,
Yes.
but there's no harm talking about it.
No, it isn't, because food is one of those things again that brings people together. And I mention it because last night I went to the Grand Iftar here, just around the corner in Oldham, where we had people from different backgrounds together. Some people were Muslim, some were non-Muslims. But what brought them together was the Iftar time and the understanding of sharing food and enjoying food together. And it's all about plus points, isn't it? So when people get together and they take their food together and they share and they talk, that brings people together, doesn't it?
Yeah, sure. That's another thing, In early days, for example, we had, we started going on for walks, and we will have a packed lunch. So it's never this happens that, I have my food, what I got for myself from home, and I will eat all of that myself, and I wouldn't offer to anyone else.
Yeah.
So this always happen that I will offer to you, I will offer to sister. I'll say, this is what I got with me, and whatever she will offer to the group.
Yeah.
So it's just sharing and caring, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody shares their food, and then because you've been walking for say an hour or two, then you sit down 10-15 minutes, have your lunch, and chit chat about various other things you want to talk about, and then again it's back to your walk, and it's absolutely amazing.
How does it all sort of get organised in the sense that, I'm just thinking, I know some of the people that are in KRAMBLERS, and we have one of the common things that we talk about is politics. I can imagine having a right good banter about it and then losing track of time. Is there somebody there that sort of says, right, okay, everybody shut up now, we're going for the walk again?
No, I don't think anybody talks about politics or anything like that. I think what happens is you talk, as you're walking.
Okay.
Maybe say I'm walking with Farooq Bhai, and we're having a chit chat about whatever, and then he's gone forward, and somebody else come along, and you walk along, you talk with each other about different things.
Okay.
It's not always about.
So it keeps you walking.
As long as you keep walking, because we have a time limit, because obviously depending on the weather and the situation. So if you're starting early, they tend to finish for about 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock. It depends what time. So obviously if you're in the Dales, then you have to come back to Rochdale, or people have to go to Oldham or Manchester. So they have a time space when we do it. They can go over maybe 10-15 minutes, half an hour sometimes. But other than that, I think.
So the group leaders keep that intact.
Yeah,
they make sure it keeps it
It's
flowing.
all about organising in advance, basically.
Yeah.
Like if Hafiz Sahib is organizing a walk, he knows that normally how long it will take to cover their walk with the people with different pace, basically. So if we have a finish time like 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, so at what time we are going to take break, how long it would be a break. But normally, because there's no pressure, it's just we are walking in a
It's a walk, it's not a run, is it?
No.
It's
not a race.
Yeah.
It's not a race. And the other thing is, Hafiz Bhai, he also does a bit of yoga, which is very good for you. He trains people on the walk. Sometimes we stop and then say, okay, do your stretches and stuff. And sometimes you do it in the start, you do your stretches and then walk, so you don't pull any muscles and things like that. The group is very caring. They look out for everybody's needs and everything. So I would suggest, everybody join us. And
I know you've got some events coming up. We have come to the last few minutes. So,
Yeah.
if you just tell us about some of the events, and then obviously we'll share the information.
Yeah, we are planning in June. We are going to have 3 peaks challenge. That's what is on the plan. We also on 6th and 7th of July. That's we are penciling these dates. That we want to have 100 miles Lake District Challenge, basically over 2 days. That's what we are going to have.
And that'll be in the summer holiday, so lots of families will be around to be able to take part in that.
Yeah. Also, what is in the pipeline that in October, basically, we are planning to go to Kilimanjaro. So we are encouraging our members basically to.
In October, did you say?
In October, yeah.
There's a half term in October. I'm just trying to think of all the holidays.
Yeah.
So
it's the season. That season up to September, October is a good season to go. Hiking up there, because as you know, it's the highest mountain, freestanding mountain in Africa. It's the highest one in the world because it's freestanding. But otherwise, it's Everest that's the highest.
okay.
Yeah.
And anything else that you haven't mentioned?
I would request all our friends and especially the people who are not associated with Kramblers at the moment, I would ask to come and join us. And usually we joke that we say that first walk we will give you that time and venue where to meet, and then next from there onwards you will be telling us and you will be asking us, so when are we going out and that's how much fun it is basically. We have our email address info@kramblers.co.uk if you need any information.
And you have a website as well.
We have a website, it's kramblers.org.uk.
Okay, excellent.
kramblers.org.uk.
And final message to people out there, Upsan, if you'd like to say message to our sisters and elders out there.
I would say to them, come out and join us, and get out there and get all your illnesses out of your head. Just have free thinking. Come out.
Excellent. Thank you. Verify.
Yeah, it's just this barrier, especially we discuss about the cost. Cost is not a barrier basically, especially for the work. It's just a barrier. It's a mindset. So once you will join us, you will know how much fun it is. So come join us. We have our Facebook page. You can search us KRAMBLERS Facebook page. We have a WhatsApp group. Join WhatsApp group. You will be notified that when is what part of the UK we are going to have organized work, or if it's a local work. So you stay in touch. Give us a try, and then you will see that what is called what they say normally is it's guaranteed. It's guaranteed that you will enjoy it.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you both of you for coming in, and absolutely fantastic. And if these two people are to go by in terms of what you can benefit, I don't know if the cameras can catch it, but the vibrancy and the healthy sort of attitude, the positive attitude that's beaming across is something that I would recommend to everybody. So www.kramblers.org.uk is the website you can go on to, so we'll put that on the bottom of the screen as well. So www.kramblers.org.uk, info.kramblers.org.uk. You can send an actual email. So lots of information out there. You can go onto the Facebook page and lots of other social media streams. Of course, we do encourage all our viewers to partake in some kind of activity, especially during this blessed month of Ramzan Sharif, where we are looking after our spirit. We are responsible for ourselves and our families, and if we can join an organisation that helps us to understand ourselves better, and if we can enjoy, make friends and bring people from our own communities out, that is of course a better thing. We'll continue our conversations with organisations and many wonderful people across the board during this blessed month of Ramzan Sharif. Please do send us your comments, share and like the page, and for those of you that are watching on YouTube, remember to ask your friends to subscribe to our YouTube channel together with our Facebook. And of course, I will see you again with another program tomorrow, inshallah, where I will be speaking to people from a different background, looking at health and well-being and looking at businesses and communities and how we can venture out and support those. Of course, at the end of it, at my program, I always say to you, look after yourself, because in looking after yourself, we look after each other. Assalamu alaikum, and see you soon.